Well, hello there. End of the year has somehow become the time to do studio tours. Everyone on YouTube seemed to show off their studio. And I've tried to find a time and place to discuss this or explain this. So I think this would be a good time to have this discussion. And we are recording, yes. So for those of you who followed me for a while know that 2 years ago I stood in this room saying this was the final studio tour, and from that point on I would disassemble this and I was moving out of the house. This all happened. It partly happened. I did move out of the house. I did remove quite a lot of the stuff in here, although I didn't dismantle everything there. If you look back to that video, all the furniture that I've built is still here. So the studio desk and the rack mount and the movable shelves and all the shelves and stuff is still here. So what happened is me and my wife got divorced and I found a new house, and on December 1st, 2 years ago, I moved out because my wife wanted to keep this house because she's not from here and she needed a safe space where she could be. The thing is, where I live, there are not many houses for sale. So when I looked for a new house, I pulled every string I could find, and just on chance, I asked someone who I saw on Facebook that he had a new girlfriend and they were renovating her house. And then I saw he had on his profile picture, there was another house, which I knew which house that was. So I just called him and asked if he was going to sell. And he said, yeah, how did you know? So on that path, I got to buy that house. It was a much smaller house, very, quaint, cozy, very nice house, like that. And the first time I came into that house, my first reaction was, oh, my wife would really love this, because we've lived together almost 20 years. We know each other and each other's taste and stuff. And I knew that this house that we lived in before, that we lived in together, probably was more to my taste than hers. And this new house that I bought was definitely more in her taste than in mine. But I had done this, I had this house, and I thought, I'm gonna make the best of this. I did a few videos in that house as well. None of them came out very great. I don't even think, maybe I just did Patreon videos when I was in that house. So that was December 1st. And then I thought a couple of times that it would be great if we could switch house, because I think that she would like this house better, would fit her better. But I didn't say this to her because, I didn't. Why would she agree with that? Because she wanted to keep this house. That was the main deal. But in mid-January, February there somewhere, she came to me and we discussed this, that the old house, the house we had lived in together, this house, I'm sorry if this is confusing, was too expensive for her on herself. It is a really big house, and it was the beginning of the pandemic, and both interest rates and electricity were just skyrocketing. So we agreed, So she asked if we could switch houses, which I had the same idea. So I said, sure, we can do that. So what happened then is we moved again, like she moved all of her stuff over there. I moved all my stuff back again. Don't ask. And then we rented from each other for a while. And then also about a year ago, we bought each other's house back. Because of the divorce and stuff like that, there was a lot of legal issues, and the bank just looked at us and said, what? You're gonna switch house? Can you do that? So a lot of back and forth with legal and bank stuff. But for a year now, this old house has been my new house. So I am actually in the so when I said that this is going to be dismantled, you'll never get a video from this studio again. This past year has, of course, been from this studio, and I'm lucky that we are such good friends that we could figure this out, so I could keep this place. With that said, there is nothing new here. It's still a mess from moving back and forth because I ripped everything out and then I had to put everything back in. So it's still a bit, chaotic from that. This studio has always been chaotic, as you know, when you've seen my videos and stuff like that. But so there's not really anything to show here. However, because I now own or have access, which I had before, but now I am the decision maker in the whole house. That means that I have moved quite a lot of things out of the studio. In the final studio tour, or the last studio tour I did, there was shelving, movable shelving here with guitars on it. Those have moved up into the living room and stuff like that, so I have them hanging there just to, like, when you're there and I listen to music and then a song comes on, then I think, this one I can take out on the bass, for example. I can do that. I can just take down the bass and just start taking the music out on the bass, just to get the musical fluids flowing, something like that. So they're all up there. A few of the synthesizers and my organs are all up there as well in the house. And then the biggest thing is that because I've done so many modules now that I'm actually selling, I had to take, like, that was a table over there, was all my selling or making kits and stuff like that. But the recent kits, the braids, not the braids, the braids is just PCBs, but the beaks or peaks and the gris, and also the branches, grena. Those three models have a lot of components in them, especially gris, and those, it takes a lot more space. So I actually have another room. I've taken another room in the house just to deal with all the components and all the stuff that a venture like that needs. So I'll take you into that room and you can see that. For this room, see the previous video that is linked below if you want to see that, for all the gadgets of this room, which unfortunately not some of them are dismantled in function, but they're still there. But nowadays I don't have motors on the shelves anymore. Now I need to push them around with my hands, which is fine, but just something that happens. So let me take you to my kit making sending room, and that's the only thing new I have to show. All right. So here's part of this new room. This is actually, from the beginning, this was a much smaller room I had, but one of my sons wanted to move into a smaller room because he didn't like this room. So we switched, and now I have a huge room for this. So here is my preparation table nowadays for prepping kits. Here are 10 grits or grist ready to be put into bags and sent off to customers who would like to buy that. So I don't think I have them in the shop yet, but I will update that. And then here in the corner we have a few furniture that isn't used, so I just had to put them somewhere and they ended up there. Here's the desk where I sit and make the orders and answer questions and stuff like that. My workspace for the company, so to speak. And then on this side here we have just shelves with kits and PCBs en masse, just and all the bigger components. So technically how it works with the components is over here. These small drawers, they work up to around 500 components, 500 resistors or 500 or something. I think this here would probably be around, I think there's actually 1,000 LEDs in this one, for example. But for resistors, for example, when we get it into the thousands, I move into these boxes and to be able to have them in one place like that. Or like the knobs, of course, there's not 1,000 knobs, but they take a lot of space. So I have those, and then I've discussed my boxes before. Uniformity is still the thing, so I went to IKEA to buy these. So this is when it goes up even further in either size or amount. So I think here we have around 1,500 Donkey Kongs. It's crazy what happens when you go from just doing a few kits for yourself, and then when you get into when people want to buy your kits, the amount of components you buy, it's astounding, mind-blowing. I can't even explain, and trying to keep track of it is amazing. And then of course we have even bigger boxes, these. So this is what I live with most nowadays. All the PCBs I actually keep in the blue JLC PCB boxes, and then I have kits ready-made in here to be sent off. And the kits are in their bags close to that, so I can just go and grab the things I need for a specific order, and that is that. And now I moved away from this one, so maybe now you can't hear anything. Whatever. It's yeah. So for those of you who have been confused why I was in my old studio that I should have left 2 years ago, now you know the reason for that. And well, this is the only new thing I could show, which is nothing fun or spectacular. It's just, yeah, the amount of the amount of components, it just grew and grew and grew until I just couldn't be in the studio anymore because it just affected everything else because it takes so much space and administration to have it always in stock and stuff like that. So it's just interesting insight, I guess. Anyway, that's it. New Year is coming up. I hope you have all had a great productive year. Wish you an even better one next year. The only one you can compare yourself to is yourself yesterday. So be a better person tomorrow or the next year. With that, January is coming up. I hope I can make some jams. I have a few thoughts regarding my guitars and basses. I want to do some other stuff, not only with my synthesizers. We'll see. Not promising anything. We all know how life turns out from time to time. But anyway, take care everyone, and see you next year. Bye.